Welcome back to another episode of Toolbox Talkz. Today we're down with Paddy in JDM Auction Watch. This needs no real introduction, I'm sure you guys know all about him. You've seen his cars all over the internet. Let's just get straight into it.
We should have got our reaction here when we came in here earlier. It's an awful shame we hadn't got the camera for that.
You can't pretend again.
Yeah, you can't do that again. Like, it was just like we nearly dropped, so we did. Like, it's just incredible.
If you enjoy this content, be sure to give us a like, leave a comment below, and be sure to subscribe to see more Toolbox Talkz and more from ToolzwithCarz.
Right, just put that out of sight. You wouldn't believe the trouble we get into for bottles of water. So you wouldn't.
Right, ready to go. Alright lads, welcome back to ToolzwithCarz. We're here with Paddy from JDM Auction Watch today. So we are doing a Toolbox Talkz episode today with Paddy. So Paddy, as some of you probably already know, is the owner of JDM Auction Watch here in Ireland. Imports Japanese cars, also not even just Japanese, all sorts of cars into Ireland. As you can see, some of his collection here behind us as well. Some are for sale, some aren't. And you'll also see that in another video that we have as well. So we'll just go straight in with a couple of questions for Paddy about the business, his background, all that sort of stuff. If you're happy enough with that, Paddy, we'll jump in and sure we'll just get straight into it. So I suppose give us a little bit of history about JDM Auction Watch, or how it started, or how it began. Or
yeah, well, I suppose without going too far back, I've just always been car mad.
Right.
Just from day one. Like before I could even talk, I was identifying my neighbours by what cars they drove and the different sounds. So it's just been in me. And always been involved in the car scene, obviously the early 2000s and
Yes.
the kind of the golden era for cars in Ireland. And when me and my buddy were doing our leaving cert in 2002, we kind of got the idea in our head that we're going to try import a car. And we managed to scrimp and save up enough money to do it.
yes,
We brought a car in. We'd no idea if this thing was going to arrive, no idea what to do when it got off the ship or anything, but somehow we managed to beg, steal and borrow the money to do it. It arrived in, and then after that we started kind of buying the odd car for other people.
yes,
That went great for a while, and then the recession hit, and that was it. It was gone. My background then was IT. I did computer science in college. I was working away in IT. And the odd time I get a request to bring in a car from Japan, I did it and whatever. And then around 2013, we started seeing that there was a little bit more interest in it again. So me and my missus, we set up a page called JDM Auction Watch. And the idea of it was just to post cars that are available for auction in Japan. Not necessarily to sell them, but just, oh, here's a cool car, we'll post it on a page, people can look at it. And then we started getting more and more requests for, oh, can you actually get me this car? I want it. There seemed to be a little bit more money around kind of after the recession. And yeah, it kind of took off from there. My IT business, I wrapped that up and I started doing it full time. And we got the auction data on our website. So people were able to go on, have a look at the auctions, pick the car, come to us and say, look, I'd like to bid in this and buy it.
Right.
So that's kind of a brief history of it. So.
Right, okay, yes. So there is a bit of is your wife still involved in the?
She is, yeah, to a certain extent. Like, she's a full-time job, but she checks in and yeah, she keeps an eye on what I'm doing and what I'm buying to make sure.
She tries to keep a bit of manners on you.
She turns up at the wrong time when there's a new car after arriving, and she's like, "What is this? What's it doing here?" So we always have to pretend it's a customer's car.
She better not watch this video then. So
yeah, no.
Just don't tell her when we release this one.
They're all for sale.
Everything is for sale, guys.
Yes, definitely.
Paddy keeps nothing. And is it only Japan you bring cars in from, Paddy, or?
I used to do a bit from England as well, but obviously Brexit has kind of killed that.
Yes.
So mainly Japan, because we know Japan, we know the market over there, we know how everything works. We have helped people with cars from Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, stuff like that, but we don't have the connections on the ground over there. So we'd be saying to people, look, if you can get the car to a port, we'll get it in for you and look after everything that way, but we can't do any checks on the car or anything like that, you know.
Nothing like that. And have you ever been over? I can't think of the name of the biggest auction in Japan. Isn't
USS Tokyo.
Yeah, have you ever been to that?
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah.
That must be fairly.
Oh, it's humongous. I forget the stats of it, but it's like multiple football pitches. You know, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I've often seen pictures and stuff.
You land the 747 on it, you know, and you've all the different sections, and you actually need a bike to go around it. They kind of hire out little bikes. So if you want to go look at like the 4x4 section or something, you get on your little bike, take off, and go find them. So
that's crazy to have something that big, like, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just next level. And then even the auction rooms, like, you've multiple bidding halls. So I've
often seen that, and there's like desks and rows of people, and you just sit there and you bid.
So you have a little trigger and you bid, and they've all different what's called lanes. So you could have, a car is coming up in lane 1.
Yeah.
And then there's another car in lane 2, and the really good guys will be able to bid on 2 cars at the same time.
My
if they're
God.
up, so.
They're the professionals, them lads.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Be able to monitor and watch and click on both.
Yeah. So there's that, and then obviously a lot of people are just bidding remotely then as well through the software. But to go to it in person is really cool.
I'd say that it's an experience. Like,
yeah, it is. It is.
And then a new thing, I think that changed recently as well, is the grading of Jap import cars. Did that change?
They moved the goalposts a little bit with grade ore. So grade ore means repaired, and oftentimes heavily modified cars used to come in as grade ore, but now grade ore just means that the car's had a repair, nothing else to it, So people will come, it's grade ore because it's modified. That's not necessarily true. Grading starts with 5, so 5 is new car condition. 4.5, exceptional, very, very good condition.
Yeah.
Then it goes down to 4, still very good. 3.5, few small marks. And then when you get down to grade 3 and grade 2, you're getting into kind of rough condition.
Rougher sort of stuff.
The important thing to remember is if you're looking at, say, a 90s classic car, the grading for that is going to take into account the age of it.
Right,
Whereas if you're looking at like a 2018 car, a fresher car, it's going to be a different standard they'll hold it to. And it is only one person's opinion as well, so it's not an exact science.
It's not exact
but they are
science.
well trained, and they
know what they're looking at.
It's rare they get it wrong.
Yes.
But it's important to have an extra set of eyes sometimes if there's something kind of borderline to check it out.
Yeah. And what are the steps if someone wanted? Say I came up to you in the morning, want to buy a car. What do I do? How do I?
So
come up to you.
There's 2 ways of doing it. You can go onto our website. You can see what's available. Have a look on there and say, look, I've spotted this car, whatever it is, I want to buy it. You put down your bidding deposit, you give us your maximum bid for it, and then if you're successful, we organise the import of it and do everything from there. Or you can come to me and say, look, I've this to spend, here's what I want, can you find me something? And we provide that free of charge, where we'll go and source a car for someone and say, look, here's a couple of options for you, what do you think, would this suit you? And we'll narrow it down that way. But some people are perfectly happy to say, look, I know exactly what I'm looking for. When it comes up, I'll contact you. And they might say to us, look, can you give me more pictures on it? Can you give me a translation of what the auction report is saying? And we'll give them all that information from there.
Yeah, so you've obviously good contacts in Japan as well.
So we've 2 guys in Japan who are working for us. They don't buy for anyone else, so it's just us.
Right, wow.
And they're kind of guys we've cherry-picked over time. We've been working with them a long time. They know what Irish buyers expect, and we know them as well. So when they say to us, this isn't great, we know it's not great, and
they're
we know
not going to send you over rubbish.
So it's important, because if you go to a randomer in Japan, you don't know what standards they have, you know.
You could get lucky, or you could just get unlucky.
Now look, there's a lot of good guys in Japan and whatever, and some people have very good contacts, but we find these guys work with us. They've been to Ireland multiple times as well, and we've a really good relationship, and it's important,
It helps the business as well.
Absolutely,
you don't want to be someone coming to you and saying, I want a really high standard, clean spec car, and then next thing you go to your lad in Japan and he sends you over a bad one. That's not good publicity either, I suppose.
It's not, no, look,
it's more of a headache for you as well.
It is, it's tough, because somebody might have in their head what they're looking for, and it just doesn't exist. A lot of these cars, people come to us, they're 30 plus years old, and they might say, I want a fully original paint, I want this, I want that, and just the car isn't out there. You have to take into account the age. But the main criteria for us is just finding cars that are solid, rust-free, good condition, and that the buyer is aware of what they're getting and they know. So if there's issues we find on them, they know about them, and
They're well
it's
aware of them.
transparent.
Yes. And I can see there's lots of seats, wheels and stuff like that lying around here. Do you import, or I shouldn't really say import, but do you bring in parts for people as well? Or maybe that's
We're
something you
not
don't?
really equipped for it. If a customer wants something and they bought a car off us and they say, look, I want a bonnet or whatever, we'll do it. It's not something we advertise or promote, but we would say, look, if you're buying a car off us, you want to get some parts with it, you want them loaded in the car before it leaves, we can do all that for them and get them sent over. But in terms of parts and sourcing it, it's a minefield. It is, and we're busy enough with the cars, and we don't have the storage space for it. So there are other good companies out there that specialise in that, and we don't kind of interfere with them too much.
Leave them at it. And a question we actually get asked quite often as well is getting a car out of Ireland. Have you ever been involved in that, sending a car maybe to Australia or somewhere like that?
Yeah, we have, yeah. So we've sent containers to Australia, we've sent cars to the US. It's not difficult from a paperwork point of view, but you just have to have an understanding of what customs in that country expect. So say for Australia, they're quite fussy on asbestos. They want to make sure brake pads are changed for new ones. They want to make sure there's no gas in the aircon system and that the cars have been cleaned. And we have to be able to provide proof of that. So it's just having that bit of knowledge, because if it went over and you just sent it over on spec, you could be in a bit of bother with them, you know.
Especially over in Australia, who are strict on their customs and stuff.
And just knowing as well that, look, the car has to be either on an approved list or over 25 years old for Australia. For the US, it just has to be over 25 years old. And knowing the requirements there. But like we'd ship cars also from Japan to Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada
they might never come
so
here.
they we'd never see them, you know.
So these are globally busy then.
Obviously our big market is Ireland and to a lesser extent the UK, but if someone in another country wants a car and wants to use their service, we'll happily do it.
Happily use as well, And back in the day, what was back like in the boom days before the recession and stuff like that, what was the car that was coming in? Like what was the car that you think?
Easy one, Starlet GT Turbo.
GT Turbo?
Yeah, every apprentice in the country had one. They were going to the credit union, getting out their loan, and just every village in Ireland was just, all you heard was dump valves. So, that was the big one. Like, I think they were cheap to run. People were insuring them and VRTing them as non-turbo on the book, and it was the famous thing, and they were everywhere. And I think that, when I think of that era, it was a brilliant time, and the GT Turbo is the one that always just pops out. They're gone. Like it's so strange. There were so many of those in Japan, and now they're tough to find. You know,
GT Turbos.
Yeah. Like I think all of them ended up in a ditch in Ireland. You know.
They're buried. Everyone engines pulled out of them and stuff.
Like to a lesser extent, you'd stuff like the AE86, but I think for maybe someone who pass an interest in cars, not necessarily a hardcore car person, the GT Turbo was cool. They were, they were very popular.
And then I suppose the Galanza followed then after.
Yeah, the Galanza,
There was a lot of Galanzas about, so there was. And I suppose, do you think will Jap import sales ever return to like back them days? You know, maybe it's as busy as it ever was. Is it?
They're bigger now, or there's more imports happening now than there was back then. But it's different cars. It's all small automatic petrol cars.
All this hybrid sort of stuff, newer stuff.
Small Volkswagens, Audis, BMWs. We do a lot of that as well. So we've trade customers who buy that stuff off us, and it's brilliant. It works well for people, first-time buyers, people who are upgrading their car, whatever. They're immaculately clean cars. They come in, the dealers have to do very little prep with them, and we buy them to order. It's just the performance cars. I don't think they'll ever come back to the golden era. But we try to bring in kind of as much as we can, and we kind of have a unique niche in the market where we do that stuff, whereas a lot of other importers just don't want the hassle of it, you know.
I suppose a lot of importers probably got burnt with it over the years too. And
the cars, you have to think about it. If you go back to like 2002, you know, that's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
The cars were a lot older.
True, yeah.
Cars had their issues back then.
They definitely
and
won't
the
have them now.
condition isn't, you know, what people still have in their head, you know, that they're going to be like that, but they're not. Now, don't get me wrong, there is very, very good cars, but they do need a little bit more work than they would have done back in the day, you know.
Yeah. And then, unfortunately, as you were saying earlier, the recession came then as well, and that kind of didn't help things either, I suppose.
Yeah,
you were probably only getting up and going at that stage.
we were only young. I mean, we were only we'd no registered business or anything. We were just, me and my mate were bringing in cars.
Yeah.
It was just a hobby for us. We weren't making any money at it. We were seeing the cars probably losing money, and we just wanted to go to the port and look at Skylines and stuff, you know, and we were able to do it. But obviously that all died out, and we were very lucky that that's all we were doing. We didn't have a big stock of cars because the recession hit. You know, the best of cars were only really worth money for breaking. You know,
that's probably
and that everyone that phones me up will say, "Oh, I remember selling this. I only got $3,000 for it, or whatever."
Yeah.
And but it was just all they were worth back then. You know, but that killed the car scene in Ireland. It just. People emigrated, the cars got locked away or stripped for parts or sent abroad or whatever, and it was a shame because the quality of cars back then was just second to none.
Yeah, it was really high. There had been some really, really nice stuff in back then, so there would have been. I remember a friend of mine had a two-door Impreza Type R at the time. Now it would have been a little bit after recession as well, like, and I think he got 4,000 for it or something.
Yeah.
It went to Poland or something. Your man was going to race it over there. So
That's common.
That's common enough, yeah.
The famous one I had was, I remember a guy, I went to his yard, he did a 22B there, and it needed a wing. And it was 10,000 sterling, and it was just way too much at the time, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy, you know.
10,000 sterling, like now, looking back at it now, like.
Yeah. But that's what they were worth, you know.
That's all they were worth back then.
It's someone got themselves a bargain, but it's funny, but and it's a shame it happened because it was just right at the kind of peak of the car scene, and it just everything died then, you know.
It never really came back either. Like it was too expensive to come back then.
Yeah, it is. The cars are more expensive now. The people are older, the families, the people who are into them, and you know.
Yeah.
But there is, look, don't get me wrong. There's great scene out there for like cars and coffee. Owners clubs. Obviously, the days of the cruises and all that, they're gone, or they're just filled with diesels now that no one wants to see.
Nobody wants to see them. They're sick looking at them, aren't they? And then that touches on to another thing as well. Like since COVID, like we were saying, the price of cars and stuff gone so dear. Like I think since COVID, stuff has got hard expensive. Like,
it has, yeah.
You probably find that as well. Like even shipping, I suppose, has got very expensive.
It has, yeah. Like I found COVID boosted the values of cars massively. And I was expecting completely the opposite. I think everyone was. We thought, oh God, what's going to happen to the stuff now because COVID's hit, no one's able to go anywhere. The last thing they want is a car. But it boosted the interest in collecting cars, and COVID was one of our busiest periods, you know, because people were, I suppose, had nothing else to do.
Thinking about what I used to have years ago.
Yeah, but values rocketed, and the kind of growth in values has slowed down a little bit, but it hasn't gone down to the pre-COVID levels, you know.
It hasn't
and
dropped.
then obviously all the issues with shipping, the Suez Canal got blocked, and then we had the wars and stuff, which have caused dramas there. And shipping has kind of fluctuated. It went up massively, came down a little bit, went up again, and now it's back down a little bit again. So you just always have to keep it in mind, you know, that we're pricing it as today, but it could always change.
It could always change, yeah. And I suppose that's another question. Like, if someone came and looked at a car now or whatever, and you price it now, like, what happens if shipping drastically goes up before that car lands there? Like,
we have to take the risk on it. So
you take the risk.
Yeah, in fairness, we can't tell someone, okay, you've bought this car for 10 grand, now it's going to cost 12.
Yeah.
So the flip side of it is, if the shipping price goes down, it's a benefit to us, you know. So when someone buys a car off us, we guarantee them that's what it's costing. If the arse falls out of the shipping industry and it's costing us double the price to ship it, that's on us, you know.
Right. So that's a big hit for you, like, too. But
it is,
you know.
Like over time, it's come back to bite us a few times, but it balances
balances
itself out.
out
So
then as
sometimes
well,
the shipping will go down, and by the time the car arrives here, you're doing a little bit better of it than you thought you were originally going to do. So it works out. The important thing for the customer is that they're sure of the price. And there's no fluctuation there for them. So that's a big benefit for us. I suppose if they buy off someone else or buy themselves in Japan and they're booking the shipping themselves or paying shipping on arrival, it's a risk, So
Yeah. And we can see outside as well there you have a lot of Land Cruisers and stuff like that. Have you noticed an increase in, say, older cars now coming in with the VRT? You know, people they're waiting for the vintage VRT.
Yeah, it is.
And stuff
Yeah,
like.
I mean, we're doing very, very little from, say, 96 through to 2010 because people are just scared of the VRT. And I think it's silly from revenue's point of view not to make it transparent and have the prices there so that people can see. And then people will say, okay, I can budget for it. I know it's going to be this. I'll get the car I want. But at the moment, anything in terms of performance-y cars, we're going with the stuff that's over 30 years old. People know it's vintage VRT, it's vintage tax, and everyone is on the same page. But if you bring in, a 2000s Subaru Impreza, you don't know what you're going to get charged.
Yeah.
It could go a little bit better than you're thinking, or it could go worse.
A hell of a lot worse, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't appeal it and stuff, but it's still you have to pay for it to appeal it. So it's a big turn-off for people, and it's a shame. And look, if they put it up and said, look, this is the price we're going to charge you for this car, and people knew, I think more people will come in, they get more revenue ultimately,
Yeah. So I suppose, and that leads on to the next one, the good market or bad market for the modern day Jap imports. There's probably not as much of a market for the newer stuff than the old stuff. Like the older stuff is just
so we're either doing, for the most part, we're doing stuff that's over 30 years old, vintage VRT, and then we're doing the modern stuff.
The real modern stuff,
yeah,
like your
so
Golf 4s.
when I say real
like
modern, I mean within 10 years old. So we're doing kind of a lot of 8-9-year-old Golfs, Polos, all that type of stuff for the trade. And then we do a lot of, as you've seen outside, a lot of the kind of performance-y Volkswagens as well. The reason we're able to do them is they have the VRT listed for them, so we know what it is. We can work it into the price, and we can bring it in and sell them, So
yes.
we don't tend to retail many of the kind of more smaller engine cars because it's interfering with our trade customers, and we rather just bring them in, leave it to them, and they have their own customer base, and then we do our own thing here. But yeah, that's kind of we do get the occasional customer who's quite brave and must say, look, I really, really want something, like I want a JZX 100, it's 1998, it's the car I want, I'm going to take the risk on the VRT, and they bring it in, and we're happy to do that, but just once they know, we can't give them.
This is going to be your.
Yeah, this is. We'll help them with an appeal if they need it, but ultimately it's a risk.
It's a risk they're taking. Yeah. And rare cars over the days, I'm sure you've had some fairly rare stuff come through the doors of JDM Auction Watch.
Yeah.
What would be your?
It's a tough one. There has been, the ones that spring to mind are the Subarus. Subarus love a limited edition.
Yes.
I think we've done 3 Impreza RARs. I think they only made 300 of those, so they were quite rare. We've done a lot of the STI V Limited. Some of them made 500 of them, some of them made 555 of them.
Yeah.
So they would be kind of some of the rarer ones. In terms of we've done a lot of one-offs, like a Nissan Pau that came in, which is like a really weird, quirky little car, and it had an SR20 in it. So stuff like that is rare because only one exists. But there's been a lot of weird stuff that's come in.
Yeah. And is there any car that you brought in over the years and you drove it and you liked it or whatever, and you decided, I'm going to sell that, and then you regretted selling it?
Yeah,
there's bound to be a few of them. I'd say.
Where do you even start with that?
Where do you begin?
There's been so pretty much everything that goes out the gate. You get a little feeling in the pit of your stomach. I say, I'd love to have kept
especially
that.
for a car guy as well. It has to be hard.
And that's the important thing. I think when you're dealing with us, you're dealing with car guys. We're car enthusiasts first, and very much business people second. So it's a passion for us. So we do There was one went yesterday. It was a Mark 1 Pajero, and it had been here quite a while. And I actually felt like when it went, I felt kind of sad because it was leaving, you know. One that really stands out is when I went to Japan in 2020. I had an Evo 6 over there, and we drove it around Japan, drove it up all around Mount Fuji. It was actually a car we bought at auction just before we went over, and we were able to use it over there.
Oh, yeah.
I brought it back to Ireland, and it was around the time of COVID. I sold it, and I regretted it. It was a stupid thing to do because we had so many wonderful memories from Japan in that car and stuff, and sold it, and it's a shame, but what can you do?
And did it stay in Ireland?
It stayed in Ireland, yeah. It's still around as far as I know.
So would you buy it back if you could?
I probably would, but I was kind of a believer of not buying stuff back, try something new, and I don't think I've ever actually bought a car back.
Right.
No, I don't, like a car that I've owned and sold on, I don't think I bought it back.
Bought back. So you're not going to start that tradition?
No, I have enough here without buying back.
You have enough to look around without buying stuff back, huh?
Yeah.
And I remember years ago, like when we would have been rummaging through cars that we were in the yard and stuff like that, we'd have always found weird stuff. Like, did you ever find anything random or unusual in a car? Something might have been stuffed in under a seat or in the back of a seat?
Yeah, well look, Dean and Emer over in the detail in Bay over there, they're always coming to me and saying, who the hell owned this thing? The weirdest one I had was a Chaser came in a few years ago, and we took out the spare tyre.
Right.
And underneath it was this bag, and there was all IDs, same guy's picture, but it was all different names on it. There was a load of checks in it, uncashed checks, and just really weird stuff. So we were just like, we'll leave this alone and see what. So I don't know what was going on there, but that was the weirdest one we've had. But you always get little trinkets in the cars, and I remember like we used to get in like the little cans of Boss coffee, or even like little receipts from the filling station and stuff, and we'd keep them and whatever. And then the guy from Japan would come over and he'd be like, what's this stuff doing here? It'd be like them keeping receipts from a Centra or something, you know?
Like hoarders.
But yeah, it's cool though, because it gives a little. If we find anything in it, we'll always leave it in the car for the next owner, because it's a little piece of that car's history and a little
leave it with it. So you left all the IDs and uncashed.
I left all that in the car, So
Rumour
I don't know what ever happened there. But
Paddy went over to Japan, cashed checks, bought an Evo 6, drove around for ages, brought home, sold it, regret selling it.
I tried to bring the checks into my local AIB. They didn't want to know.
They didn't want to know, did they not? And did you ever get a car come over, say in a container, that might have been graded, like say grade 4, grade 4.5, and it was actually a 2 or 2.5?
Not that much of a difference, I suppose. You would always get something and you'd say, no, this, in my opinion, it's not a grade 4, and it might have been one that we weren't able to check or whatever. There's always stuff that's borderline, and again, it's always just been one man's opinion or whatever. And some cars, it's always the older classic stuff. You might get something you're a little bit disappointed in, and it's just the nature of it. It might be 1 in 100 cars, but it does happen. There's no point saying everything comes in and it's, but it'll just be small things usually, and it's usually cars I end up buying, but
I end up keeping them ones.
Like I've taken a few risks and stuff that we can't get checked, and I say, look, I'll chance it for stock, and it'll come in, and you're like, oh, what did I do? But look, they kind of work out okay.
Is that where the Beetle came from?
Yes.
Oh god.
That was after many pints on a nice summer's evening, and it looked like a good idea. And yeah, it's here.
Oh, it's so funny. Did you ever not receive a car?
No, never. Thankfully, never had a total loss. Never not received a car. So
at least that.
Yeah.
I'd often be afraid. Like you see all these videos of shipping containers coming across. See, and next thing a big wave comes and wipes out a pile of containers. Oh my god! Can you imagine if? I
mean, look, the one thing to remember is everything's fully insured. So absolute worst case scenario, if the boat sinks, your car is fully insured. You're getting back what you paid for it anyway. There's also insurance for anything that's caused, any damage that's caused during transit. So if the car gets a mark or a dent or whatever, the cost of getting that rectified is covered.
It's covered as well.
It's good. Now, it's very, very rare something to be marked. The guys that load them are extremely good at what they do. and they have a good system going. And then the guys we have unpacking this side are absolutely top notch as well.
Right,
and,
okay.
So it's extremely rare, but if it happened, you're covered.
You're covered anyways, yeah. Which that's always great reassurance as well, like, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's you couldn't. We don't even give people the option of that insurance. We just put it on because
We just put it on.
It's not worth it. You know, for all you'd save, it's not worth the risk. You know.
Yes. And I suppose, have you ever had someone come to pick up a car and they're not happy with the car that has come in?
Yeah, like it does happen, you know,
yeah.
and people will have in their head that this something 30 years old is going to be like a new car,
Yeah.
and
It's not.
It's rare because they're getting all the pictures from the auction, they're getting the auction sheet, they're getting all the pre-shipping pictures. So it is rare that something comes in and someone's not happy. It has happened, and I'll always try work with someone on that and say, look, can we get you parts to help out with this? Can we source stuff for you? Can we give you a dig out here? Because we'd rather see someone coming away with a good experience. Some people you'll never keep happy, and you just have to park it and that's it. And it's just the way it pans out. But look, thankfully it's rare. Ireland's a small country. If people weren't happy with the stuff coming in, we wouldn't have a business, you know.
You'd hear about it fairly quickly.
You would, yeah. But yeah, it's just the nature of it. If you're bringing in older performance cars, there's going to be little issues here and there that pop up. And
a lot of people now, I suppose, are buying cars that they might have had 15 or 20 years ago, and they're expecting it to be like that car that they had 15 or 20 years ago as well, and it's just not.
People sometimes think that they're kept in glass houses in Japan, and you know, but they're not.
Like
they're used like, you know, they're used and abused over there and enjoyed and whatever. So you know, it is rare. But like I said, we do, if someone comes to us and said, look, I'm genuinely not happy with this, I feel the car was misrepresented, there's a few steps we can do to try and rectify things for them, and we'd always try work with them. But as the years go by, we're getting better and better at cutting any of those cars out. We know kind of different models, their problem areas, all that. So you know, we have that knowledge as well. So you're I suppose you're a lot better placed to get a better car with us than maybe using a random company who just doesn't have the knowledge of some of the older stuff, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that must be a great feeling for you as well, like seeing someone come through the door and their nice new Subaru sitting here, like, and they're all excited and
look, we still get excited for it. I mean, when we know there's a containering with cool cars, we're just itching to get a look at them, and you know. But yeah, like people come in and you can see they've been looking at these pictures, the pre-shipping pictures, for the couple of months it's taken to come over, and then they see the cars in the flesh, and it's doing handovers is brilliant because
it must be
people really enjoy it, and particularly something that's like a bucket list car for someone, and they've saved to get this particular car.
Put their hard-earned money into that.
You know, you have the job of getting this over for them and making sure they've got the right one, and then it all comes together, and it's brilliant. You know, it's a pleasure to do it, and you meet some really, really good people through it as well, and like you know, you're able to, you've worked with them throughout the process, and you build up a good rapport with them, and you know, you meet them then or whatever, hand over. But yeah, like and we have the detailing bay as well now, so we're also offering people the opportunity that if they want their car detailed and everything before they even come and see it, we can do that.
We can do that as well, yeah. And one thing that I just want to touch on as well, I seen it on your social medias there recently. It was kind of a hard read, but it was a really nice read as well. Is you've done a deal with a guy on a Bighorn a while back or whatever, and obviously. It takes a lot longer than a week or two for it to come in, and sadly that man passed away before the Jeep came in. And I think that must have been for yous, I don't know whether yous knew before the Jeep came in or not that he passed away, but reaching out to the family to say your car, you know, your Jeep's here, like that must have been hard, like too. It's a hard area to know. To fine line.
It was very tough. What happened was he was a dream customer. He was such a good guy and a genuine enthusiast, and we found something that was really ideal for him, and we're able to purchase it. And he was we're keeping him up to date with the progress. We had no idea he was ill, and everything was kind of going as it normally would. and his girlfriend's partner reached out to us and said he's after passing, and we were just gutted. It was heartbreaking because he'd obviously looked forward to getting this in.
This was his thing,
was something for him. So we spoke with her, we chatted to her, and we said, look, what do you want to do? And we said, look, if you want us to take this on and resell it, there's absolutely no problem. But she said, no, his family want it, and it will be a memento for him. So we were delighted to hear that, because we said, well, and we took pride in it and said, well, look, we're going to get this. We brought it here. We gave it a full paint correction, detailed it. We had it looking $1 million going out, and his family, or his father and his two friends came to pick it up. And it was a lovely moment being able to hand it over to them.
It would have been,
and saying, look, this is what he wanted, and they told us as well that, you know, he had been researching parts for this. He'd been looking at different, and it gave him a boost, you know, which was nice to hear that it was something he was kind of enjoying doing and excited doing, and I'm happy that they're keeping it, and it's a memento to them. It's something, you know, it always been in the back of my mind that it's something that could happen. It never happened before, and it was horrible, but it was nice to be able to do it for the family, hand it over, and I know obviously that when they have that now, it's a nice memory of him, and they're able to they're gonna enjoy it and pass it down.
Pass it down, have it there as well. Yeah, that it was. I just remember seeing that now, and I just thought that's hard, like, for the business to just be able to reach out. And do
we
that.
we all said, well, look, the best thing for this was we'll bring it here. We're going to detail it, get it absolutely as good as it can possibly be, and make it as nice a handover as possible as we could for them. And they were absolute dream to work with as well. And I think for them, it was important for them to get it and have it, you know, and keep it for him. And I think their intention is they are going to use it and, you know, enjoy it. Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, very good. Well, at least they're going to get that out of it, so there. And just to get a bit of, I suppose, an insight into other things then as well, future investment cars, do you think what one's going to be the next one to... What should we jump on, Paddy? What should we jump on, huh?
It's quite easy. I mean, what happens is people have the cars that they see when they're young. They get into their 30s and 40s and want to buy those cars, and it kind of goes in 25-year cycles. So you've to now thinking what cars are coming up on the 25-year age range, what's going to be sought after. I think a very good one is a 350Z. I think they're a surefire bet. They're cheap now, but they're not going to be. If you fill the shed with those now and sat on them for 10 years,
Get that down. Get working on one of them now.
Last thing you need is more cars. But no, I think those Altezas, certainly IS200s to a lesser extent, they're a real younger generation than me. Will have a real passion for those, and much as people slag them off and whatever, they're very good cars, and I think they will be one to watch. Other stuff like S2000s, kind of the later Evos, all that kind of stuff. So if you're thinking 25-year cycle, like going back kind of before the cars that are here, it was all like Mark II Escorts, Sierra Cosworths, all that kind of stuff. And they've peaked and they're kind of starting to drop off, because I think anyone that wanted one of those has got one now. Yeah. And the era we're in at the moment is all kind of 90s JDM cars, because people who are kind of my age dreamed about those. They now want them. They've kind of settled down. They're at the age now they want one for their collection, and I think we're seeing the peak. And they will probably continue to grow for another few years, and then maybe come back a little bit. And other cars will start to... It's just the life cycle of things. Just the life cycle of them, yeah.
And then I suppose bang for buck, then, so at the minute is a 350Z, you're thinking?
Yeah, probably not at the moment, but it will be down the line. If you want a bang for buck car at the moment, I think a Toyota Celsior is a brilliant option, because it's the same as the Lexus LS400, but you're getting a 4-litre V8 Toyota, which was the most highly developed car Toyota ever did. It was built to take on Merc and BMW and beat them. Yes. And you're getting that for €200 VRT, €56 tax, and they're quite a cheap car. Like you'd pick a nice one up for maybe 8 to 10 grand, which is a lot of car for the money, and they are so well built. If you want, it feels wrong kind of driving one of those for €56 tax.
Yeah, it does.
You're cheating the system, which is cool, you know. But I would say they're a brilliant bang for buck. And then some of the 4x4s, like that you can just use and abuse day to day, and then bring them to Cars and Coffee at the weekends. You know?
And just properly get it all for me.
Brilliant. But there will, like that changes too, and any of the 30-year-old plus cars that you can have with the classic V4T and the cheap tax do offer good value, and their cars you can just leave them tax for a year, insure them on classic policies, and bring them out and enjoy them.
It's not costing a whole pile either, like, isn't it not? I suppose, I don't know if you really want to go too far. Best deal you ever got on a JDM car, like anything that you thought, oh, you know, you don't have to name the car because you might have sold it, you could still have it, but you're thinking to yourself,
yeah, I've bought a few that have kind of worked out very well.
Yeah.
I've bought a few.
This was one of them.
Yeah, that was one. Probably that's a really good case in point. Like I bought that just before they hit the highs of where, you know, so that car came just before the American market could get their hands on R32 GTRs, and it was great value. And then all of a sudden, they were 25 years old, they took off, and you know, that was good value. There's always cars you get, and maybe they go under the radar a little bit at auction or whatever. And oftentimes customers will bid on a car, and then you'll get it substantially less than their maximum bid, and it's a great deal for them, you know. But yeah, like that would be one that would stand out to me. Yes,
and I suppose then there's many yokes you bought. I know with buying and selling cars over years that mightn't have just been as good as you thought. Like there's probably one or two yokes you got stung with badly too.
Yeah.
Maybe more than one or two.
I'll take a chance on stuff sometimes, and if it's something for my own stock or to resell, sometimes they don't work out. And I bought one recently, and it couldn't be inspected. It was way down in Okinawa, which was extremely expensive for transport, and the thing is scrap. Like it's just we couldn't check it. It was a non-graded car.
Right.
It won't go into gear, won't start. The sills are rotten. What can you do?
What are you going to do with that?
I don't know. It's just it's in storage, and it's an Impreza, and I just said, look, do you know what? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I won't take chances on customers' cars. But for myself, I'll take the. Sometimes they work out, and sometimes they don't. So
that was just one of them, obviously, that didn't work out. Yeah. And is all the good old school cars from Japan gone, or is it harder to find?
It's harder to find. They're not gone.
Yeah.
I suppose a lot of them have been exported over the years, so there's not as much there. There's a lot of stuff now that's just you're kind of, if someone comes to you and they're looking for something, there might be a bit of waiting on their hands before they'll find what they're looking for. There's still a huge population in Japan, still a huge amount of cars over there, and it's still the best source for cars. But obviously supply and demand, there's a big demand, supply isn't as good as it was, so it's just natural that it's harder to find stuff. But there's still so many gems over there, you know.
Right, yeah, there is still some good gems in there. Any issues you face in this line of work? I suppose a lot of them would be just getting the stuff over here, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Look, it is.
Do you have ever any issues in ports or stuff like that?
There can be, yeah. I mean, sometimes you know you can deal with customs, and they can just delay things when they're coming in, or there's all kinds of paperwork, and or paperwork goes missing or something. There's all kinds of little issues you can have. But we have it down to really a fine art at this stage, so we kind of know what we're doing. We know what everyone expects along the way, and there's always the odd little hiccup, or a boat gets delayed, or something happens, or a container comes in on a Friday of a bank holiday, and then you're paying storage. But it's just natural, But we're used to it. We know what to expect, and we're able to deal with it.
Well sussed out at this stage. That is all right. And then I suppose you're fairly well established worldwide as well. I know I was going to ask you, would you ever think of setting up, say, up the north or in the UK or anything like that? But you're globally recognised anyways, as you were saying. You'd be shipping stuff from Japan to Australia and stuff like that you'd never even see.
We've a really good, strong following on Facebook, and people recognise our brand. Now, we obviously have the largest customer base here in Ireland, but we try to market to other countries as well. We always have stuff going to the UK, the US. We always have something on the go to there, the odd one to Australia. So yeah, we would try. Like, it's the biggest problem for us is we don't have people on the ground in these other places. Yeah. So we're able to deal with a lot of it from here, but time zones can be a problem and stuff like that as well. But you know, we still think if a customer from the US wants to buy a car off us, we can offer them a good service.
Source that as well, yeah. What would you do differently if you were ever to start over again with the knowledge you've built up now? Is there anything you'd change, or?
I changed the name. I don't like the name of the company.
Do you not?
No, like, it was set up as a page on Facebook for just posting JDM cars, JDM Auction Watch. And I never liked it, and it just stuck, and people recognised it. The Facebook page took off, so I'm lumped with it now. Nothing I can do. So
you can't go change it now.
No, I can't do anything differently. But I suppose you learn lessons along the way, and you kind of learn. The most important thing you learn in business is to trust your gut. And at the start, you kind of try to keep everyone happy, and you're kind of saying that's not always possible. So you kind of trust your gut. If someone expectations aren't realistic, you let them know. And if you know, sometimes the deal you don't do is the best deal, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you better just walk away.
You just have to walk away sometimes. And if you feel a customer isn't a good fit for your service, you just tell them that, and you're straight up with them. And sometimes they'll come back and say, no, look, appreciate that, I've had to think about it, and we'll come back and we'll do something else, you know. Trusting your gut, and maybe just not realizing that you can't keep everyone happy 100% of the time. Like, I'm naturally trying to be a people pleaser, and it's just you just can't do it.
It's not easy when you're dealing with public as well.
And I've learned that over the years. You know, if you can sit down at night and say, look, I've done right by this person, but they're still not happy, there's nothing you can do, you know. So you've done your best for them. It's only natural, and if you're not learning, you're not doing something right, you know.
Yes, you learn as you go on. Learn from your mistakes, as a lot of people
Absolutely,
used to tell me as well.
Yeah. You do. You have to. Like, every day, like, importing cars isn't brain surgery. Anyone can do it, but we do it a little bit better than anyone else, or I like to think we do.
Yeah.
So, and it's just through years of learning, kind of perfecting it, dealing with the right people, knowing what we're doing, and offering people a good service, you know.
Have you many people working for you?
Yeah, we do. So we have Ross, who's in sales alongside with me. We've Marta in accounts, who is just the godsend of the business. Accounts and all that is something I really struggled with when we started off. She's absolutely brilliant, and she deals with all the customers when the sale is taking place. She keeps them updated on the shipping, invoicing, payments, everything like that. And then we've Dean and Emer, who run the detailing area, so they do all the paint correction, prep our own stock cars, and then do work for customer cars as well. And then we've Victoria, who comes in and does the social media for us. So we've a great team, and I suppose that's one thing I've learned as well. At the start, I was trying to do everything myself, and you have to realise that's not achievable either. So when you take on someone else, like, there's certain things I'm bad at, and there's certain things I'd like to think I'm good at. So if you focus on the things you're good at and be really good at those things, and then take on other people who can complement and be better at the things you're not so good at, you know, it just works out.
You're only as good as the team that's around you.
Exactly,
as well,
and we've a really good team here. You know, they're people I can trust and work with as well. I think we gel well, and it comes across in how we deal with customers, you know.
Very good. Oh, well, look, what does it say? They're important to have the good team around you, so it is. And money, no object. What are you buying?
It'd have to be a JDM car. I'd love an NSX or Type R.
Great pick. Have you ever had any NSXs?
I've done 2 of them over the years.
They're very rare now.
They're spectacular cars, and I just think money no object. If it's a Japanese car, NSX is just peak. It's the supercar that came from Japan.
Unbelievable, aren't they? And I suppose then the likes of the more legendary cars, I suppose they're probably getting harder to get at auction, like the 22Bs, the Tommy Mackinnons, the NSXs, like they're probably harder to pick up now, aren't they?
Funny enough, like a lot of dealers in Japan will put them into auction because the market will decide what they're worth. Whereas if they're retailing them on a forecourt, it's hard for them to predict the value. And they also know they're getting more exposure to the export market as well if they're putting them into auction.
Yes.
So you'll often find that won't be too many 22Bs kind of going up on car sales sites in Japan, but you'll see the odd one coming up in an auction. Same with the Mackin and Evos, any rare high value stuff like that.
Right.
Dealers will say, right, we'll put them into auction. They're going to make what they're going to make, and they can set their own reserve on them.
Yeah, and they'll probably sell better abroad. You know, there's probably more people abroad looking for them than there is people in Japan looking for them.
So you have the domestic market, and then you have obviously like lunatics in Ireland. In Ireland.
With a ball of money just looking for the 22B.
Yeah, I'd say like per capita, there has to be more 22Bs in Ireland than anywhere else, you know. So I think we've bought 2 of them as well over the years. So. But
beautiful car.
Fact, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, they're holy grail.
You haven't got
stuff.
one of them hidden in your collection,
not that last time I checked. No,
not yet. Anyways, but right, that's it. We're at the end of our questions. So you're happy enough, Daniel? Yeah. Okay, lads. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Paddy for entertaining us this afternoon with the videos. If you're interested in importing a car from Japan, feel free to contact Paddy on how do we get
I suppose
Paddy?
the website's the best place to start. You can have a look at jdmauctionwatch.com. You can see the cars that are coming up for auction there. There's information about the process, and then obviously you can email us, call us, WhatsApp, whatever way you want to do it. The best thing to do is let us know what you're looking for. We can give you some valuations, give you an idea what you're looking at and the availability, and then we can go from there.
Perfect. So yeah, lads, any of you interested in a lovely JDM car, get on to Paddy. Paddy the Source, an absolute cracker for you. So thank you very much, Paddy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody, for staying tuned. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do remember to give us a subscription as well, and a like and a comment in the section below. And until next time, see you then.